Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Today, we are going to be talking about Fallout 4's canon ending. And if you enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe, and comment for more. Fallout 4 has four main endings. It has an Institute, a Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, and the Minutemen. Now, let's go through some of the endings and discuss which ones would possibly be the right ending and not. We have the Institute, the Brotherhood of Steel, the Railroad, and the Minutemen as possible factions that could have resulted in the faction the player chooses. Now, keep in mind that we do have current canon as of the Fall TV show. For example, we do know the Pridwin is still around, as well as knowing that the Brotherhood of Steel is still active and well armed and armored. Now, let's go through some of the factions that we know can't be the ending of Fallout 4. It can't be the Institute, because during the main quest of the Institute, the Brotherhood of Steel is largely destroyed in the area. The Pridwin is totally destroyed and taken out by the Institute forces. This is also how Elder Maxon is killed, as well as other key figures like Proctor Tegan, Quinlan, and others. The Railroad also does a lot of these same things. Now, this really only leaves two factions endings to be possible, this being the Brotherhood of Steel and the Minutemen. During the Minuteman's main ending, the Institute is totally destroyed and taken out of the picture, and the Railroad is largely left alive unless the player decides to kill them. The central focus of the Minutemen is rebuilding the Commonwealth. So, generally speaking, the Minutemen themselves would probably prefer to leave the Brotherhood of Steel completely alone to focus on their main goal, which is rebuilding the Minutemen. Now, because you're the player, you get to choose, what your faction does. So, with that being said, the player has the option to join the Brotherhood of Steel in the first place, going as high as, during a Minutemen playthrough, becoming a paladin of the Brotherhood of Steel and taking Paladin Dance's previous place. However, the player can get on bad terms with the Brotherhood of Steel if the player significantly pisses off the Brotherhood of Steel by killing significant numbers of Brotherhood of Steel soldiers. We know for a fact this can't happen because, similar to the Railroad's ending, the Brotherhood forces would be totally wiped out in the area of the Commonwealth. The Pridwin would be destroyed. The only thing that we wouldn't be sure of is if Elder Maxon and other key figures like Tegan, Quinlan, and the other proctors are still alive. However, it would make sense for all of them to also die in this ending because most of them spend their time primarily on the Pridwin, and when the Pridwin is shot down, it would crash and land on the airport where some of the remaining key characters would be. And lastly, this just leaves us with the Brotherhood of Steel's ending. Now, I want to make a minor addition here saying that, unlike Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4's factions are a little bit less complicated, your relationships with them. In Fallout 4, you usually just typically end up having a relationship being on positive terms or on negative terms. So, with that being said, let's get into it. During the Brotherhood of Steel's ending, the Institute is totally wiped out from the Commonwealth, as well as the Railroad. The Minutemen could still be repairing and assisting with settlements in the area. However, the player can also just choose to not even go into the museum and just leave them for dead. The Pridwen is still up. Liberty Prime 2 is alive. Maxon is still alive. Now that we've finished going through all of the Fallout 4's endings and establishing two endings being Brotherhood of Steel and the Minutemen, now I will explain why I believe the Minutemen has to be the ending and why it can't be the Brotherhood of Steel. First off, the main reason why I believe the Minutemen ending has to be the canon one is because the player does not have to fight the Brotherhood. All of the Brotherhood's key figures are still alive. The faction is generally potentially able to be left entirely alone. Bethesda has a tendency to make good karma endings canon. For example, in Fallout 3, The water is perfectly safe. Very little negative things the player does is actually considered canon. So, that, along with other things, makes it a little bit more good. Previous Fallouts have always used the good karma endings as the canon ending. And here's where we get into the weeds, where in Fallout 4, the Brotherhood of Steel are semi bad guys. They have a deep seated hatred for synths, who they don't consider to be living creatures or even have any sense of self, sentient ghouls who haven't went feral, super mutants who are not hostile, as well as forcing other farms and other people to take care of and feed the Brotherhood of Steel. The Minutemen are relatively simple good guys. They just want to help keep communities safe and protect the people of the Commonwealth. But what do you guys think? Comment below which faction do you believe is the ruler of the Commonwealth at the end of Fallout 4? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed.